KShedd in the house.
Hey, whoa, nephew. That's my job, man. Don't be stepping in there in my role. This is KShedd Uncuffed. I'm KShedd. But anyway, actually, let me show you. You actually did that a lot better than I've ever done it. So anyway, can y'all believe this? KShedd Uncuffed listeners, we have something very, very special in our studio today. He is my nephew, and I remember every time I see him, I remember him as this little old, like 1 foot tall, little, not gremlin. I ain't saying gremlin. You definitely don't look like a gremlin, but you were that small and like that quick and just all over the place at the house. And I'm just like, I turn around, I'm like, all of a sudden he's all grown up. How old are you, 19 now?
18.
18?
19.
19, yeah, 19. And I'm just like, a grown man, got this thick beard, and I've never been able to grow anything on my face, really. And he's all like a grown man now. I remember this one time when you were a little one, Dillon. You're about 2 to 3 years old. You may not remember, I'm sure you don't, but you're at your grandma's house, and I'm playing with you, and everybody's in the kitchen watching, and I have you up in my arms, and I just lift you way up over the top of my head, right? I said to everybody, watch this. And I pretended like I was dropping you, and I like ducked down to the ground and just let you free fall all the way where I caught you like almost a foot away from the ground.
Oh, Lord.
Your granddad said, "Oh my God, I've never seen anybody with that much look of fear in his life."
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So here you are today, man. What's going on today? Are you at the campus?
Yep, I'm still on campus. It's finals week. Just no practices or workouts right now. They're giving us a little time to, little optional time, basically. We're getting a new facility as well, so it's all under construction.
Really?
And so it's going to be really nice. And
how much more advanced can freaking Michigan State get with their facility?
Man, I don't know, man, but it's really nice. One day, we get you out here and I'll tell you around that place.
I'll tell you what, man. I've never been more proud of anybody, really, man. I mean, you've grown up, and tell us about a gist of the ride that you went through, man. I mean, grew up in West Bloomfield.
Yep. So really, Farmington Hills. That's where the house is, and West Bloomfield High School, and Powerhouse High School, sorta. A lot of players come out of there, a lot of great teammates, a lot of leadership and skill and team leadership roles and team roles. We got guys all over the country that, I was blessed enough to play with, and hopefully, we stay connected as we are now, and everybody goes to the level they want to be at. So, yeah. Well,
first things first, though, huh? You're concentrating on schooling and everything like that. What major are you?
I was a business management major. I just switched to advertising management. So a little bit not as rigorous per se, but still to a point where I can go into business, or I can go into marketing, or I can go into communications, anything such as using my voice and networking with people that I've been doing for since high school, sort of, just meeting people, because at some point, people you're going to meet, some of the people are going to be millionaires, and you want to be able to know those people. So, yeah, be friends with people, build that network all over the place. Yeah.
You sound so grown, man. You sound like a business major already, man. Like that's fantastic. I mean, has Michigan State been everything you've been hoping it was?
To keep it completely real, no. Because, I got here and we went after going.
This is called KShedd Uncuffed, man. We nothing unfiltered. So.
Yeah, nothing unfiltered. I mean, so that football-wise, really good season 2021, but I was still in high school. Then I get here for my freshman year. I play all 12 games. I'm actually have the most special team reps by any freshman to ever come through Michigan State University in history. So I got that in my belt. I got 2 starts as a freshman and everything, but at the end of the day, we went 5-7, and I'm not used to that. And we have a fight at the school down the road. That sucked. That kind of ruined some things, pulled some really good players away from the team. And then, stuff like that, where stuff just hasn't been to where we wanted it, but we know it's somewhere in there. It's coming soon. And then we get to this year, get a coach fired, and then finish the season 4-8, new coach, new players. It's kind of like, not what I was expecting, but I do love this place. I grew up a State fan. Nothing, has been okay, yeah, you don't need to spend your time here at all. Yeah.
Well, so it's so awesome that you brought that up because I actually wanted to talk to you about that because when you were a little one, I can't remember what league it was, midget league or whatever you guys call it out there in Michigan. But your mom, my sister, she would always call me. She was so stressed out. She's like, "Oh my God, we just got back from the game." And Dillon was highly upset because the team wasn't playing well, and I think he was throwing his helmet down, and he was getting in those kids' faces and stuff, and yelling and screaming. And she's like, "What do I do?" Nothing. That's what you want. That's the sign of a true leader at that age. I mean, obviously, if he starts grabbing other kids and getting in their face and around, then that's a problem. But if he's letting his true emotions out, that means he hates to lose. And he's a true competitor. And as he grows and grows, it's going to start becoming clearer what the motivation is for his demeanor being just kind of amped up like that. And his teammates are going to start keying in on that and feeding off that. It's a true leadership skill that, and I apologize. I actually wasn't even really thinking about that because I've always been a Michigan State fan. So when I watch the games, I watch the games to enjoy a really good game and see everybody ball. I had forgotten all about the inner drama that has gone down over your last couple of years, man. And it couldn't have been easy. So I apologize for that, man, for you having to experience that.
Oh, no need to apologize. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a real world. And, a group like this, nothing's going to be perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. Really just got to battle through adversity. Now with new staff, it's really a whole clean slate. And what my goal is, I think I'll be able to do it, but it's just getting my teammates to be on the same page, to let the past go, be able to move on. Because if we keep dwelling on the past, we're never going to get to where we want to be or even come close to it. We're just going to continue to be an average football team, and we don't have time for that. I hate losing. The more you win, the more recognition you get, the more credit you get to go to the next level as well. And perfect example from high school, not a lot of guys were getting looks from colleges or something until we won that state championship. Now, everybody on the defense, I think everybody on the defense except like one guy went D1, like D1 MAC, D2 at the minimum, has got a shot. And we didn't win that state championship, and it probably wouldn't have happened. So I'm trying to spread that word. Like, man, God, the more we win, the more effort we give, and the more we love football and care about football, you have a better chance to getting where you want to be at the end of the day. And they're asking me, for some reason, I guess they like me already. But
who's this day? Who's this day? You gotta get some names.
The new staff, new staff. Yeah. Coach Smith, Coach Adams. They asked me, what do you look for in a player or one of your teammates, man? I told them, I'm like, oh man, I had it all written down right here. But from the top of my head, I was like, a guy that loves football, a guy that's physical, a guy that is not dramatic and sensitive about stuff that may happen, and a guy that's a good person. Because without good people, it's really, really hard to be successful when 120 guys on the team. It's a very, very hard. Because one bad person can turn another bad person and just keep going down and keep going down. We always said it as a group of three. We call a group of three that's talking bad about the program. We call that the Fellowship of the Miserable. And the Fellowship of the Miserable can take that poison and take it to other people, and it just keeps growing. And our Fellowship of the Miserable is freaking 25 guys. That's 15, 20% of the team. Now I was like, we're not on the same page. How do we expect to win? Yeah.
And that is so perfectly said, young man. It's so crazy. 19 to be that well put together. But the whole thing, though, you have to understand that it's not all on you guys. So you guys sound like you got some great team leadership. It's just over the last couple of years, the head coaches, or the coaches, let me just say the coaches in general, just haven't been able to have that strong backbone that's needed. It's surprising. Obviously we're talking about the firing of Mel. And I was a big fan, and I remember obviously when he was recruiting you, one of the best photos I remember seeing was him coming to your school, and that one photo with him. He's a big old imposing looking dude anyway, and you got my nephew right here. at his high school, sitting there taking a photo with the head coach. And the head coach has this beautiful smile on his face, like, yep, we got our guy. And I'm just like, this is going to be tight. To be honest with you, Dillon, then I started watching his interviews when he's being talked to by some of these reporters, and his answers and his responses just weren't sharp. I don't know why. They just weren't sharp. And I'm just like, if I was a Michigan State ball player, I would be a little bit kind of like, Coach, what are you talking about? Why are you not keeping us up, man? Let's go.
I feel you. So really, like, some of the answers that the public may see may not be exactly what's going on in the building. So what our thing was, especially when this head coach was like, who matters most and who needs to know all the information that's going on are the people sitting in the team room. Like during that team meeting, he would say stuff like that. Which I get it. And I was like, dang, okay, the media is looking at us this way, or the media is looking at us this way. But at the end of the day, we're getting in fights against other schools in the tunnel. That's not a good look for us at all.
Good point.
Coach Tucker, I love Coach Tucker. I mean, still love him. And
let me jump in there. So I get it. I mean, you're big Tucker, and I wanted to ask you about that fight. Didn't it just happen just out of the blue? But I don't know if it was all your guys' fault.
Okay. So, the game's over. I'm one of the last people to come up because, like I was saying in high school, last year I had 3 teammates on that team and a football coach. So my head coach from high school is their receiver coach now. So I was trying to say hi to everybody. Right. So once they're forcing our team up the ramp to go first, so there wouldn't be no issues. But somehow, some way, they let 2 of their players come up, and a game like that, they're talking absolute crazy. Even though they only scored 5 field goals, how are you top 5 teams scoring 5 field goals? my bad, a little off topic, but they're talking complete crazy. And you talking crazy, and then you get to pushing the guy. Now it's not gonna go well.
Not gonna go well.
Not at all. It should have been stopped at the point. They shouldn't have been up there at all, and there would be no problems. Now we've still got guys battling those cases till today. Like, It's crazy. So we had guys, missing practice just to go to court, and we don't have time for that. Like no way they think it's that hectic and that aggressive to press charges on the guys. I mean, it's football. You're gonna have some type of aggression, but at the end of the day, y'all supposed to stop this action before it even came close to it.
That's one of my biggest problems that, I got to be guarded because who knows where Coach Harbaugh might be next year. He might end up out in Vegas. So I got to be careful a little bit. But I didn't like his reaction to that whole thing. This dude jumps on the TV saying, those criminals beat up my guys and they just jumped them. And I'm just like, what? What did he?
And it's like
video?
It's like you a grown man speaking on young men that already have issues with fans and people in our social media telling us to kill ourselves and telling us to go over here and man, you deserve to be in jail, calling us thugs, felons, calling us N-words, everything. What? So even I was just in the video. I'm in the background just looking at the stuff because I knew if I got involved, that's not right for me. That's not a good look. I don't got time for that. So, but I'm just in the video. I'm getting death threats. I'm getting called a thug, a felon, criminal. You deserve to go to jail. Go, off your show. Like all that. Nah, because it's over now. I took it the right way. Just didn't respond. And then went to a assessed level. We had the right to report the stuff and actually, take legal action against those people. So, but that was with a lot of us, and most of us just in the video. And
did not know
you
that.
get that from a school that has those fans that are kind of like outrageous and trolling with all this stuff going on. At the end of the day, we're young men. Okay, we don't need to be fighting there, but it happened. You don't need to do all this extra. And then, as a head coach, why are you egging it on?
Thank you.
For what?
Why? Hey guys, you see how closely knitted me and my nephew are, man? It's because I've always been there around him from every stage of his development, from little league football to high school, to college now. And I always make sure that I check on him. And the moment I hear something that just sounds odd, then I kind of, hey man, let's meet up for coffee or whatever. I don't have to do that at all because Dillon is so well together. And it's because of the way you were growing up, man. Your mom and dad taught you well. It's because their mom and dad taught them well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. I love my parents. I tell them all the time, extremely grateful and blessed to have both of them in my lives, and always being me step for step. To this day, my dad has still never missed any of my football games. He's been to every single one. So it's like great to have that, and the fact that he takes passion in that is crazy. So,
well, he's living through you, and so is your uncle. Because I've always been a Michigan State fan, and I've always thought that they had an amazing stadium. Those uniforms are just super dope. Apologize, listeners, if nobody uses super dope anymore. I'm kind of old school, so I throw a little word back in here and there. But my nephew and his teammates look good in those uniforms. But we were talking earlier, Dillon, that your junior year is, I don't want to use the word money year, but your junior year is year in, whether it's junior year in high school and now it's junior year in college, that's usually the year where scouts start checking you out and they know that that person has developed and matured in some type of level where they can really start like having a grown man conversation with this particular person. So your junior year is a pretty big year.
Learning from high school junior year has kind of prepared me. It's like the tip of the iceberg for now, just because your junior year, as soon as that starts, recruiters and scouts from colleges can come to talk to you, can talk to you on the phone at any time, at any point. And, this is the year that this is what they're really going to look at, because sometimes your senior year, maybe you might, who knows if you go back your senior year. So with my college experience, senior year or junior year coming up, I'm just looking at it like, how can I make myself the best person I can be? Off the field and on the field. What can I do to continue getting better, working on my craft, and also getting myself noticed as many times as possible? Because at the end of the day, I want to be at that next level. That's if you want something really bad enough, you got to work for it. It's not just going to give it to me. So that's how I see it, and how I call it money years, because you get that call. You get that call, man. It's some money on the table, man. Let's just be real. And that's how this world works now, especially, college, NIL stuff. It's money years, and that's just what it is. So, but especially, just go out there, show out, win some football games, maintain leadership, and everything. So.
Hey, I remember, and I don't know if you knew this, because I don't know if you watched the live version of the games. Obviously, I know you guys watch practice film after the game, and you get coached up. Sometimes coaches, or used to coach way back in the days, they come in and they sit in there like, what in the heck were you doing to this play? And then other coaches come from all over the place. And they just hammer it down. That's what to go through, film study after the game and all that stuff. So obviously having thick skin and all that stuff is very, very important. But this year, you guys played Minnesota, right? This year?
We did. Yep.
There was a play where you were on this dude like glue. Just he ran like a 10-yard out, and you just hawked him and followed him. You were all shadowed him very well. Stuff, and then at the last minute you knocked the ball loose, but they threw a pass interference flag on you. And I'm looking at it like pass interference. And what was so cool was the announcers all looked at the replay and they're like, pass interference. That's some really good defense right there.
Yeah,
so you're getting noticed.
I'm trying my best. With the thick skin, I built that my freshman year of college. I had enrolled early, and they had asked me what position I wanted to play. I said, okay, I want to play defense, because it was really running back or defensive back. Yeah. So I said, okay, I want to play defense. I came in playing the nickel back. Then they were like, okay, we want to try you at strong safety. So I learned strong safety. And then another week came by, we want you to learn free safety. And another week came by, we need you to know strong safety and corner. So learning both of those. So really, I played all 5 positions in the defense backfield. And with that, being so young and learning so much defense, because in high school, I didn't play zone coverage. It was all man at any point. Even if that was an over-top safety, or is that playing nickel in the slot corner. So, man, it was some rough days.
Really? It was a rough day for me. I can't see, because I was expecting some calls and some rough days, but you must have figured it out.
So, I mean, it was like, it wasn't really keeping it to myself, but it was like, okay, Dillon, you're growing up. You want to be here. You want to make plays. You want to help this team win. So let's keep going with it. Keep taking the coaching, and soon it will pay off. And it did, and luckily it did my freshman year. So a rough day would look like putting in a new defense. I'm learning nickel. Nickel was probably the hardest position to learn because it is run pass responsibility at any given moment you're out there on the field. But it's really fun to play. And once you get it, you're good. And it took me a second to get it because they moved me from nickel to strong, and then moved me all these different places. Now it's a little harder and took a little longer for myself because they got me playing all this stuff and I got to know it. So it'd be a few days where I come there. We had a lot of older guys in the room, and then just be like, hey, you on my head? Or you on my head? I got two coaches, well, really three, because Coach Tucker would always be in our meetings. And then they got the two DD coaches. So you got that. And then you got the older guys, man, cussing me out, man, Dillon, what the, all that stuff. Like, it's like, golly. And sometimes, being so young, you just got to sit back there just mad. But how I was then, I would respond and not just give silence. And now I can respond and give actual critical thinking answer because I know the defense so well. Now we're playing a whole new defense, but I knew the defense so well.
You might have some of that Murphy's Law luck that your uncle has. Every single time. I mean, my final year in the pros was with the Washington Redskins at the time, right? And they had this player personnel head guy. His name's Charlie Brown, one of the best receivers in the NFL. And then he became their admin, one of their admin guys, player personnel guys. So that 1 year I said to myself, I'm either going to break through and become a mainstay starter or I'm shutting it down. And I remember getting called into the office from Charlie, and he's like, man, it's so great that we found you. Because I was running routes on guys like Champ Bailey once. I did a comeback route on him. You can't even see him on the video. He turned and ran, thought that I was going deep, and he was scared, and I broke it off, and it was great. So he said, you're going to be a main part of this whole thing next year. You come on in, learn the offense and stuff like that, and we're going to really, really get you going and all that stuff. I don't know why you haven't really kind of developed just yet, but we really like what you can bring. All of a sudden, everybody gets fired. They bring in Marty Schottenheimer, and Charlie Brown gets fired, all that stuff, and then I get fired and cut. So you got to be mindful of that stuff, that you can prepare all you want to, as long as you're able to clear that slate with not much trouble and figure, okay, I got a new coaching staff in now. I got to learn all this now.
Yeah, I mean, really, the hard part was definitely learning the zone defenses. I mean, anybody can play man, follow your man, learn the right leverage, learn where your help is. That's easy. Now, zone, what drop, what leverage, what check, what are we going to? And like I was saying, I never did that. So now that I know something now, I think it would be a lot easier now. And if I mess up, it's okay. It's messed up. It's football. You're going to mess up at some point. You're not going to be perfect. And at the end of the day, you just got to be able to learn from it and move on. I remember from this past season, my coaches they would literally tell me, something happened. I love the way you can move on and continue playing. And that's really big as playing, especially at corner, because, man, you're playing against the quarterback, probably the smartest guy on the field, and then you're playing against a receiver that's probably the most athletic guy on the field. And you're playing against both of those every single time. And then they bring you in tight. You got to play the run. So, as you can see, I love talking ball.
Yeah. Hey, we got some young football players up and coming, man. So this is critical stuff for them to listen to.
Yeah, so you got to be able to, cracking plays, make the tackle on the big 240-pound running back that's coming around the horn really hard. And you got to be able to show up. My coach Salgado, love the guy. Learned a lot from him. Smartest guy I probably know with the football stuff. And he's always like, man, it's in your contract. You can't fall down. You got to be able to tackle.
You can't fall down and you got to be able to tackle?
Yeah, so he's now, he's that was good, great guy, taught a lot. He's gone now, but they didn't hire him back. But now he's with Washington. He's helping out their staff. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So, I mean, but it sounds like you got the plans and stuff like that are ready. So maybe this new coaching staff, we were talking about that, but they came from Oregon State, huh?
yeah.
That's where your cousin goes to?
Mm-hmm. I told my little cousin, I'm like, I'm sorry for taking coach.
He's a good one. He's a good one, man. He's a good one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Have you met him yet?
I have met him. We met him as a team, and I met with him individually 3 times. He's called me in there himself, and I guess they see a little something in me. So Coach Barnett, the guy I really love, he was our interim head coach from this past season, after Coach got fired. And he was in there, and as I'm going to go meet Coach Barnett, wanted to say hi to him. And right before I met the guy. So this is what Coach told me when he came to sit down with me. He said, "Man, I just spoke to Coach Barnett. He feels, you're a great guy. You're going to give me everything you got. You're hardworking, and you're a leader here." So I'm like, okay, I'm glad. I'm really happy y'all think that about me. And stuff I'm doing is paying off. Like sometimes you don't get the recognition or get told you're doing good things. And for some people, that's like one of their techniques is like they won't tell you because they want you to continue getting better, continue giving 100% effort, 100% of the time. And to hear that really touched my heart because I'm doing something. I keep wanting, and even though I heard it, I still want to continue getting better and continue giving everything I got. So.
Man. Yeah, man. I don't know how much better you can get. You played as a true freshman at Michigan State University. You came in this year. There was a couple of the articles, the College Football Weekly type articles saying Dillon Tatum's going to be competing for the starting cornerback position with these 2 other people. Dillon goes in there and he does what he has to do, and then you look and he's the starter. Dillon, he's my nephew, so obviously I got to make sure I don't come off too unbiased, but I would picture you as someone who's at the Grand Canyon, right? And this is a little thing, but you get to this cliff that's way at the top of the Grand Canyon, and there's no way to go back down, right? And the only other way to continue moving forward is to jump across this 100-foot cliff to the other side of the Grand Canyon, right? So now picture that, everybody. And Dillon's just standing there trying to figure out how to do it. And everybody in their right mind would say there's absolutely no way that this is going to happen. All of a sudden, the commercial or whatever clicks out, and then it comes back in, and now Dillon's running up the other side of the cliff on the other side of the Grand Canyon, going up and further. How he got there, I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's what my nephew brings to the table. He doesn't need to be told how good he is. He already knows. And he goes out there and he does what he has to do to help his team win on a steady basis, play by play. And I can tell you, I already know that's what the Coach Smiths, the new coaches coming in, that's what they need, because that's like a strong team leader. And after these last 2 years, man, the Michigan State fans, your teammates, you guys have to experience what it's like to be that top dog in the Big Ten. And I think that's what's going to happen here soon, man. You got your coaches probably in the right place now, setting up big things. So I'm excited for you, man. I was happy when you, that you got a chance to meet Coach Smith already.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. He's a great guy. I haven't met his family yet, but he's talked about him. But the first day we met him as a team, he shared his vision. And when I met him individually, he reiterated his vision. It was like, I want to come in here, win football games, bring championships. I want to, bring great players here to the portal because, when it's something like that, guys are going to leave. That's the reality. And for the NIL aspect, he wants to spread the wealth. He doesn't want guys, making so much money to a point where a guy that contributing but doesn't have like the biggest name or the biggest playmaker, but like is not making nothing. He wants people to be able to get a piece of something because having everybody on the same page and guys knowing that their work is paying off in some way or earning something to help their families and per se. And then live a little more comfortable as a college student. It's very good, and it means a lot to the guys. So I'm bought into the vision for real. So, because I told him, I'm like, I just want to win, and what it's going to take is going to take great players. It's going to take great staff. At the end of the day, we're playing the game. I just gotta, help teachers and help learn, help teachers, and we're gonna help learn what you guys are teaching to be successful out there.
Who's your favorite team to play against?
Favorite team to play against? Yeah. Those big stage games, man. Like, we played against 3 top 5 teams this year. But I only played 9 games. I had a little injury after the Nebraska game. So Washington, Michigan, and Ohio State were all top 5 teams when we played them. And, playing on those type of stages, I played against Michigan and Washington. I didn't get a chance to play against Ohio State this year, but last year, they're obviously in the same position. And that's where I recorded 4 tackles as a freshman at strong safety. So playing against those bigger teams, I didn't know, 5-star here, 5-star there, all this, great player there. And you're playing on the same level, or if not better, that's really big. I know when I played against Michigan, I had a good game, I guess. I ain't gonna blow my whole head over nothing, but I think I had a good game. And when I was told, they went back into their locker rooms and like, man, 21 can play ball. So I'm like, okay, I like that. I like it here.
Hey, do you have any type of back and forths on the phone with Donovan? Because I know that was your teammate.
Once a week.
Is it all fun and good games? And you guys still good friends?
You're still good friends, but we talk on the phone once a week with each other, literally. And and it's we talk about some funny stuff. And I'll be like, man, I just want to let you know I got to hit you on this play. And so I always bring that up. Like, you're not breaking no one-on-one tackle on me. No, sir.
Hey, you know what you guys should do? You know how you have trading cards. Obviously, you get trading cards in Michigan, in college and stuff like that too. I think one of the coolest trading cards that you two could do together is one where you're in your uniform and you're lined up, as dressed as the governor. We're gonna talk about too, and you get that look, and you're lined up against Donovan as he's getting ready to come on in with the ball, and he's getting ready to come into you, and you guys about to clash, and he's in his Michigan uniform, and you both have your respective colors and stuff, and it's like split view. That to me would be one freaking fantastic trading card. Yeah. You both are slated to be the next big time athletes as you move forward. Tell them I said that. Y'all should get to work on that.
I will. I still got your you and I trading card. And then one of my box under my bed.
Oh, really? I still don't know how I caught that ball, bro. If you look, my eyes are closed, and it's against Iowa State and stuff. So that, like you just said, your biggest moments on a big stage like that are ones that stay with you. And, I played at Little Northern Iowa, so it was huge for us to go up to Iowa State, and then so that was adrenaline moment. But I also thinking about that, it actually brought me back to what was so important. And when you said that when you're in your defensive meetings and you have the OG defensive backs over there, kind of like looking at you, come on, man, what are you doing? Obviously, they're doing that to get you ready and to mentor you. And I remember that the year before we played Iowa State, I had a horrible game. They kicked the ball out deep in the end zone, and for whatever reason, I caught it, and I'm in the end zone, and I'm like,
I'm taking it out.
I took it out, yeah. My blocker was trying to hold me back, and I ran past him. I said, get out of the way, and I ran out the end zone, got hit, fumbled the ball. And I guess what I'm getting at is that the same senior guy who was my lead blocker on that, who was trying to hold me back, he pulls me aside. He's like, dude, you're going to be a superstar at this school, and you're going to help win us some games, but it's not time yet. Slow down, okay? Learn the craft, and then your day will come. I was like, you're right. How important is that for a young guy like yourself to hear that for some of these OGs, because you're going to be that same guy looking after these young other receivers or defensive backs next year?
It's really important. It was really my freshman year that I got that because there was so many older guys in my room, and how this year it wasn't a lot of older guys. I was basically the older guy. So saying that to the younger guys that just got there, I'm like, guys, just take a breath, step back, and realize what's going on. Why do we keep messing up on the same thing? What are we missing? And help explain that to me so I can help you. Because the more we have on the same page, the more we have a chance to be able to put you in the game if I go down. So that actually came to be this year. I go down, and we can put you in the game, and we can trust you. And every game that I was down, I'm on the sidelines, and those guys are asking me questions, make sure I'm being available to my teammates because, team player guy, I want to be able to, give at least all the information y'all would like to hear to help us win football games. Freshman year, hearing those from a guy like Xavier Henderson, Kendall Brooks, guys that moving on and taking the coaching is the big piece.
Man, well said. Hey, tell me what your plans are after football. I got to be an uncle.
After all football, I like to be a coach.
Yeah, huh?
I think that would be my first go-to. But then I step back and realize, okay, at some point, Dillon, you want to have a family. And I see coaches with their families. It's
you just
really
keep it real, man.
I'm keeping it completely real.
Yeah, that's a real thing right there.
Yeah, always moving. My coach, like my coach Salgado, his family still lived in Buffalo, where he came from the Bills. His family's still in Buffalo.
No way.
And or like my coach Blue Adams, his family stays in Florida half the year while he's up here working. So it's like I wouldn't be able to see my family. I don't know. I'm a big family guy, so I don't know how that would work out. So then I looked into, I'm like, okay, what about personal training or some type of communications act or maybe an analyst act, something like that, go out there and be able to talk about sports and football because at that point, I'm just talking about what I love to, or what I used to love to do or what I love to do, because it's going to be really what I'm going to build. What my brand is built off of is, personal things, but football is where the big piece of it. So continuing that legacy of that aspect of, football and being able to put that in other places, So, yeah.
Hey, so everybody, you got to listen to what Dillon just said, because it's so key. His plan is already kind of seated in the back of his mind. So once football does wrap up, he already knows kind of which way he wants to go. And I've already seen it because 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, it was Christmas break or whatever, and we all went back home to where my parents lived, Dillon's grandparents and stuff back there in Iowa. And, he woke his cousin up, Mercedes, my daughter, said, "Girl, get up." And then he said, "Uncle, can you take us?" And that's when they couldn't drive. Then, "Can you take us to the park?" And then I took him to the park. There's this place called February Park where it's nothing but hills and all these different things. And
workout time.
It was workout time. I'm just like, holy crap, self-motivated. They didn't even need to be told what to do. Sayus needed a little bit of kicking in the butt to get up, but they were out there, guys, humming. And I'm not talking about light workout type stuff. When they did the dynamic stretches and all that stuff, and they got all loose, they were working on technique, on their acceleration drills and stuff. And I think that came from what's the track thing that you guys just do?
AAU.
AAU, yeah. I think it came from the AAU, and all the things that you've learned technique-wise was all on display that day, and you were teaching Sayus proper technique as well. So I can definitely see you doing that.
Yeah. Coach Sherry Tatum was out there as well. And, had a little Cam, the big track star, all hands down to Cam and everything. But no, I like to go on that too, My sister's helping keep me grounded. And, I tell people now, they'll ask me, what do I do stuff for? And I always say, besides family, I want to leave the right legacy for people that are, up and coming behind that, A person like Cameron, a person like Sid, or a person like all these football players that I talk to from Little League that are still playing Little League. I want to be I'm doing the right thing, and I'm not doing it just for myself. I'm doing it to help lead these people in my life to the right direction. And I use that as motivation a lot because sometimes it gets hard, especially this year. It got really, really hard to, keep going. And my mind was just you know,
Like, how
I
bad
want to
can
be
it
here.
get?
Yeah, can it get much worse? Because it seemed like every week it was like, we use it as, man, it's like we're getting kicked in the nuts, like every single week. It's something different. Because I told you the big things, but there was like other small things that was like, golly, man, it hasn't stopped. And that's the thing about, you know, real life. You're going to have adversity, and you're going to have to battle it. And at some point, you have to move on from it. And that's going to be the big thing moving forward and moving on from it.
Love it. How'd you get this nickname, the Governor?
This governor came from running track. It's one of the track parents. It really started off as the mayor, Mayor Tatum. And I was like, man, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't know. So going back to that networking thing, I would love to talk to everyone's parents. You know, and like on my competition, I knew it was going to be something that day. I would keep in touch with them and everything. But how they saw was like, man, I'm walking one of my best friends, DJ, man, he'll know to walk 20, 30 feet ahead because, or behind or something, because he knows I'm gonna stop at some point. So they're like, man, the track parents are like, man, every time I see you, man, it's like you're kissing babies, hugging parents, shaking hands, introducing yourself here and there. I'm like, it's me. It's just
sometimes people just got it, man. I look at these commercials, man. Ovation, dude. You look like you're ready to break off and shipped off to Brazil, where they do all these beautiful commercials on the ocean. Dude, yeah. How'd that happen?
The ovation came through a family friend. My dad and Sean went to high school together, and he hit up my dad. Then, hey, I got this clone thing. I own it. I would like to get into an NIL space. And we just, you know, and went out, shot up from there. He ended up buying me that suit. That's fully custom suit. I designed that myself. On the input, I had input on what the smell of the cologne, the new cologne, Ovation for Men's Sport would smell like. So, you know, things were going in the right direction. And, you know, I'm telling you, it goes back to that connection thing. My dad knew the guy from high school. That's just another network connection that, you know, he was able to share with me and let me do something big with it. And
this is crazy.
This
is crazy. So much has changed since I played back in the days when, you know, the Tyrannosaurus Rex was like the mean linebacker that you had to face back in those days. You didn't want to have to go up against him. But things have changed so much. But as I was coaching this year with our high school out in Brentwood, and I was kind of like trying to help out some of our young receivers, you know, when it comes to getting looks from colleges and all that stuff, I reached out to Stanford. And one of the things for Stanford was that their criteria of who they look at are people who have these crazy business-minded things. And then actually at the same time, they also own and operate their own business right now. I'm like, out of high school, they own their own business? And they're like, those are requirements now. So when you just said what you just said, I was like, Dillon is part of a company where he's creating his own deodorant line and cologne line.
I don't have any ownership in it, but when I was saying I gave some input on like what it would smell like. And, you know, the advertising aspect, I'm always on Instagram posting about it.
Yeah.
You know, put money both in my pockets. That's ownership. Basically, I guess. I was talking to a lot of kids now that are my age. They're like, man, they have this one kid that I'm trying to get to come here. He has 2 nonprofits, and he's 19 years old.
Wow.
So it's like, people are doing a lot of big things. And going back to, like, the network and everything, what I learned going on all these trips and everything, just about business, about NIL, about, you know, I went to Alabama about with Selma and what they went through down there. Just learning things. It's about who you know, not all of it about what you know. Who you know will lead you to what you really want to become. And I always keep that in mind, like what can, you know, just having a simple conversation leading to a phone number or a text message can do. Simple stuff. Started there, continue relationship, bang. Oh, hey man, I need a job now. I got you. I remember you. We had a great conversation. I got you with a job. You're gonna make this amount of money. Don't worry about it. I got you. Like simple stuff like that can lead all the way to that stuff, all the way down the road. And you know, anytime we get an opportunity at my school to take advantage of those type of opportunities, I'm always first one to say, okay, I want to do that. I want to do it because, like, why not? if you're here all year long, why not take advantage of the opportunities that are handed to you? And then you never know where they're going to go. So I try to, get my teammates that don't see the same wealth or, in those conversations to understand, like, man, football does not last forever. You're going to need a job at some point. Even if you make $100 million, you're probably still going to need a job because who knows what you're going to do with that money? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows who's going to need it? You never know.
So glad you're thinking like that, man. Obviously, my 8 years in the league are true testaments to, my situation too. Stuff that I've seen. I make a joke, but back when I played, I used to get a limousine to go get the mail, man, because my driveway was too long.
Lord have mercy, man.
No, that's a joke. That's a joke, man.
Yeah, I'm about to say, get you a golf cart.
Oh no, but in all honesty, the sooner the young kids start figuring that out, and I see a tremendous difference in the youngsters nowadays. Millennials take a lot of heat, but in reality, they're more business savvy than you could imagine. And this is important because the NFL, as much as I love you, the NFL is a different beast. Here's a scenario for you. I'd like for you to figure out what this kid did wrong. You know how NFL teams, they have training camps, right? And they have a certain number of kids that they like to bring in for, camp bodies and all that stuff. You want to bring in as many people as you can without having to pay them all that crazy money because you might get lucky and get a golden nugget, right? So this particular person was a special teams ace. He had a skill on special teams that was so rare, and he's really good at what he does. He has his primary position on defense that, kind of maybe undersized, but what he can do on special teams is something that's so elite. He's the type of guy who's always going to get a look and get an invite to a camp. He goes to camps, and then when it's time to compete, he's kind of like, timid and not very vocal and kind of like waits his turn, not very aggressive. He gets passed over, right?
Yeah.
Years of that goes by. Now teams aren't as quick to sign him for camps and stuff. So he calls me, what am I doing wrong? So I talk to him, I listen to him, I kind of hear how his maturity level and all that stuff. And I'm seeing what he's doing to promote himself, like the little videos and posted on YouTube and all that stuff, TikTok, whatever. And he's getting some good exposure, but when he's getting these opportunities, these camps, he's not talking to the scouts or the coaches in a way that makes them think, ooh, we got to sign this guy, right? So there's a pro day that he was able to get himself part of, year 3 or 4 in the league where it's going to camps, getting cut, not getting signed all year and getting frustrated, firing agents, find new agent stuff. So that went on for a long time, right? He goes to this particular pro camp and you have paperwork, you have to sign up for the camp and all that stuff. And then it didn't go well. He's like, I can't believe nobody called me back. I'm just like, well, what did you put down on your questionnaire? Oh, just the typical stuff. I put my name, I put my college where I was and all that stuff, my position and everything, and where I put my agent and all that stuff. I don't really have an agent, so I have a financial guy who I use, right? I'm like, okay, well, what did you say? Well, I put his name. Okay, all right. And then I put in parentheses, he's not really my agent per se. He doesn't handle contracts, but he represents me. So you already know where I'm going. Yeah. And I looked at him like, what? And he's like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. No, don't do that. Dude, it's all about selling stuff. They don't care about all this. Put that dude's name and move on. And he's like, really? I didn't want to lie to him. I was like, dude, it's not like that.
It's not lying. I mean, it's if you didn't want to put somebody there, you're so better off putting yourself and saying, I represent myself. I know how to handle this. And like, boom. You don't want to. At that point, he was talking too much, giving too much information. You hear for certain things, the try out, get another shot. Giving so much information, and then not being yourself. From the speaking and competing and then being timid. Probably, that's not. I don't know the guy, but that's probably not him being himself. So that's how I see it as. You got to be able to be yourself. Got to be able to take advantage and attack the opportunities that are given out there.
What are your thoughts on the pros?
Going to a room of 90-something guys. Yes, who wants to play in NFL? Everybody raises their hand. At the end of the day, how hard you work, what kind of film you put out there, what is that team looking for, and who's going to advocate for you.
Mm-hmm.
So don't answer that thing, who you know, and they know you can play football if you're a baller. They know that. Mm-hmm. Now, can you go in the room and explain the entire defense, or they give you a scenario? What would you run against this offense? Can you go and do that? Can you speak about what the quarterback, his progression is on a route concept? Do you know these little things about football? What are your smarts? So like how smart are you about the game? How are you a good person outside of football as well? Like, what do you do, charity, volunteer work outside of football, outside of the program that puts you ahead of another guy? Because
can I jump in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
As your uncle, I have to jump in there right quick.
Yeah.
Because you were on a roll until you started talking about what do you do, what can you do outside community-wise? Because we're not talking about 2-3 years down the road in the NFL when you get all settled in. We're talking about a fresh rookie, straight out of college, into your training camp. Now, finish what you were saying, but keep on that level of what can you do for your defensive scheme to defeat whatever, and how are you going to compete on a daily basis in training camp against that competition who right next to you is another Dillon Tatum and 5 more on the other side of you. That's how you need to start thinking as far as like on a daily basis, schematics of how you're going to make it through that training camp and get and sacrifice everything. You know, there might be times when I'm sorry I have to say this, but there might be times when an auntie or an uncle or somebody might call after a long day of training camp practices. This is the league now. We're not talking now. We're talking about the league because once you hit your junior season, it's fast track. Boom. You're going to be running and gunning. So just listen to what I'm saying now. This is for pros. So you have to take every moment to focus on that competing for reps, because now you're going to have other guys who are going to be focused on the fact that you have 80 plus people in training camp and they only keep 53. So if you've had a long day and you've been getting your butt chewed out by coaches who are trying to get you ready and all that stuff for the preseason games, and then that phone rings and it's my sister or my brother-in-law calling, every once in a while, you're going to have to let that phone ring and go to voicemail. And I know you're a family guy, and that's going to be extremely difficult. But they will understand after you make the team and after you settle on in why you did what you had to do, okay? Yeah. Because now it's about you and focusing on you, nothing but football to make that team and to accelerate and excel and make plays when the preseason games come. The only reason why I need to say that is because I didn't figure that out until way late. And it took me 3 years of just hardships to right that ship. I don't want you to ever have to go through the type of crap that I had to go through my time in the NFL. That's the reason why you don't hear me talk about it so much, because it wasn't pleasant those first 3 years. It wasn't until I figured out what I just got done explaining to you of how that NFL works that it became fun. All right? Yeah. Cool. Before we wrap up, you got anything you want to add?
Big shout out to KShedd, Uncle KShedd out there, down the West Coast. Doing this thing. I want to say, thank you for the invite for the podcast. I know my mom, she called yesterday and she goes, "Hey, you gonna be on my brother's podcast?" I said, "Yeah." He hit me up and I'm like, I love to be a part of something, especially if it's family like you, you love to be a part of this. So got a chance to talk.
Yeah, I got a chance to hear the vision and see the vision, and I think you're right on track. I've always thought that. Before we go, one last question for you, okay?
Let's hear it.
Who's your favorite uncle?
Oh Lord! Oh no! I got too many. I can't say it. I'll get beat up.
Well, for now, I guess I am. But as soon as we get off my podcast, then it's Uncle Jeremy or whoever else who's gonna be like going partying out this weekend with.
Oh Lord! No, I love my family members.
That's what makes you so special, man. There is no way to answer that question. Yeah. Just know that I'm always going to be right here. But like I said earlier in the podcast, if I have nothing to offer you, I'm going to be sitting in the background watching and being so proud of you, because watching you turn into the young man you are it's fascinating for me. Like I said, I'm living my dream through you. So I wish you the best moving forward. Good luck in finals.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right.
Tell Anisha I said hello.
I will.
Little Miss London. Hey, little Miss London.
KShedd Uncuffed out.